Welcome back, child lovely people. So today I'm in my car again. I am having some difficulties with noise, and I'm not gonna let it stop me or keep me from recording. So I am just going to have to change the scenery. Um, it's funny because I know why it's happening, and I'm starting to recognize, like right before my my manifestations come in, I'm starting to notice, like, before I could feel it and I realized what I was doing was like kind of like self-sabotaging in a way. I think I mentioned this in another video where I was just like, what is the good way to put it, like, kind of feel like I wasn't capable of what I was literally thinking about every day on a daily basis. So yeah, I can feel my test, and I am passing it with flying colors per usual. But today I wrote down the topic I wanted to talk about. I forget exactly what it was. Um, oh, yes. Well, I had another video where I was talking about how I started my business. Congratulations to me. Give myself a round of applause. And it's funny because I've been doing hair. I do hair. I've been doing hair for a very long time. And I have always come this close to making it official, and I always kind of created these situations to kind of take me out of it, be it, going to school, getting a job, or like my most recent relationship where I didn't have to work at all, and it was just kind of, I was being lazy in a way. And it was like this kind of self-deprecation because I knew what I was capable of. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I think about on a daily basis, yet and still here I am, accepting the bare minimum when I know I deserve more, right? And I was I forget what I was watching, but it made me think about how, okay, well, let me start with this. I received chocolate, right? This Rocher chocolate. I mean, the chocolate, the thing with chocolate is, so, like, if you follow me on TikTok, I posted about it. It's like, I think it's like a 72 count. It's huge. But that's not what's so surprising about it, because I already had some of them anyways, which is funny enough as it is. But the thing that stood out to me the most was, upon receiving it, I'm like, I automatically realized, okay, this is kind of like a test. I'm moving a certain way. I have certain goals that I'm trying to reach. Like, I am materializing abs at the moment, abdominals, a strong core, and abdominal muscles, and like extremely visible, prominent abdominal muscles. I know that we all have abdominal muscles, but I am um, basically a body architect, and I'm trying to. I keep saying trying. No, I am shape shifting, and chocolate is not going to necessarily help this, right? But at the same time, I'm about to start my cycle. So I'm about to start my cycle, and I'm thinking, like, okay, I want chocolate. Of course, I'm craving chocolate, and I'm just having this like back and forth with myself. It didn't last that long, but it lasted long enough for me to be like, oh well, no, we're not doing this. No, do you want the chocolate or not? Yes. Okay, go get it. Right. Make the decision to go get it, regardless if it was me changing my mind or not. For making another decision, right? And I was thinking, I was like, this is what people do to us on a daily basis as a society. There was this guy I saw, so that was yesterday or day before yesterday, and then I think that was this morning where I saw this video of this guy. His whole platform is basically him just making fun of people who are vegan or who eat meat, or um like the most recent video I saw was, when I mind you, I don't follow him. I don't know why his posts get sent to me all the time, but it's a common, it's basically like bullying in like a funny way. And yeah, so it's like basically like bullying in a funny way, or how he tries to make it funny. But so the joke was like, I'm trying to think, it was like, oh, um you've done all these things, and you get to the grocery store and you're looking at a bag of chips and you're seeing all the bad stuff about it, and that's where you draw the line. And it was like a key, like, I mean, millions of people that are laughing at this, but you can see, like, even in some of the comments, how people are kind of like laughing through the pain, because yeah, even if they wanted to change, it's not cool to change. It's not cool to change your mind or make um a decision and then change your decision, right? People think that you have to stand on it. People think that you have to make a decision and that is the absolute, the end all be all. My friends, that is not true. And I know that people make fun and bring shame and try to keep you in that same box, that you stumbled upon, that you blindly walked into, that you weren't aware you could have been disassociating, you could have been self-loathing, you could have been in victim mode, you could have been in, you know, itching for validation, so many different things and so many different reasons we put ourselves in these boxes. And it it doesn't, you don't have to do that. And let me put it in a better perspective for you. So think about somebody in an abusive relationship, right? This person got in this abusive relationship. Yeah, it's their fault. They gave this person a chance. Yeah, they stayed with them after they hit them the first time. But I would feel, and again, there's no good or bad. There's no right or wrong. Is. There just is. And you can do what you want. That's why in certain situations where, people have come to me and they're like, I'm experiencing this, and I'm like, okay, so what are you gonna do about it? Like, you can either stay in it or you can make a decision to leave. There's no right or wrong thing to do. It's just what's right or wrong for you. How does it make you feel? Does it serve you? Does it replenish you? Does it make you better? Does it, get you to that next step? And if it doesn't, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. Especially getting beat does not. Well, hear me out, because there are people who, if you strive to be the biggest victim there is, getting beat is that's your one-way ticket to being the biggest victim that there is. Go get beat. Go get in an abusive relationship, right? But if this person is actively like, I need help, I need to figure out a way, da 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 da, and they get online or they get around a certain type of person, and this person is telling them, they're like, you got to stand on that. Well, you've been doing it. You've been doing it this long. You might as well keep doing it. How does that even make sense? If you want to change your mind, change your mind. And I think that that's the part that people mess up on, is reaching out to, and excuse me, you should be able to reach out to people, right? But not everybody's going to be like me. Not everybody's going to be like people who have common sense, right? Who have a sound mind and a sound heart and have some type of balance within themselves. People would rather you stay where you are because they're so stuck where they are, right? That person could be, driving a bus. Nothing wrong. Not that there's anything wrong or right about driving a bus, but they could want better for themselves, and they've convinced themselves, maybe their husband, maybe this is a wife and she doesn't get beat, but her husband tells her that she needs to get up and go to work every day and drive a bus, otherwise he's going to leave her. So she goes to, whatever her job is, or goes wherever she knows the abused girl at, and she tells her, well, you've been doing it this long, that's, you just like that, or that's just y'all thing, that's just love taps. I've heard people say this to people. And I've had to hold my tongue on a lot of stuff, because I've learned that people do not like truth speakers. People don't like when you speak the truth, right? People like when you lie to them. I love the way you lie. Oh, I think that's Rihanna. I love the way you lie. Yeah, that's a song, right? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's a song, but yeah, people love when you lie to them. People love when you, especially lying and then kind of like sugarcoating it. So like lying and then like just kind of brushing over it. Like, what? I've seen it. I've done it. I did it before, where I couldn't understand why this. First of all, I was dating someone a little bit older than me, and we weren't even like in just a committed relationship, and I wasn't, at least, and and he wasn't, for sure, and I knew this, and I just remember that he kept like, I would ask him something just on just I'm a conversationalist. Like, I mean, everything's a social experiment to me, honestly. And I'm just like, like, oh, so like, how did that happen? Or how did, y'all come across each other, or blase, blase. And he's denying it. I mean, like, denying it. And I'm like, but I know it happened. What do you, I'm, I don't understand. Why are you lying? Not only why are you lying to little old me? Not only little old me, I'm a fraction of your age. I'm half your age. This person was like 18, 20 years older than me. And I'm like, you and the other person are considerably older. Why? What about me is so like scary? Why are you scared of me? I can't reprimand you. What am I going to be able to do to you? right? And it gets to the point where it's like for me, it was more of a why can't you just, if you're not going to tell the truth, why not just lie? Like the way that he would go about it was like, it was like a oh, how to explain, like an avoidance kind of thing. Like it didn't happen. I know it happened. Like, and it, I don't even count that as a lie because it was the way that it happened. Like he would never just beautifully lie. Like he would just, it was like a stumble almost. Like it couldn't form. I guess which this is a person that told me that I make people feel naked. Like people feel exposed around me. And I didn't realize that that was happening because I'm like, yeah, I would imagine people feel exposed around me if I provide a space for them to open up. Wouldn't that imply exposure? You're not only being exposed to a safe space, but you're being exposed to a safe person. And that is scary. And when people fear things that they aren't familiar with, that's what happens. They repel it. And so when people aren't familiar with the truth or with people representing the truth, they tend to, kind of stray away from it and reject it in a way. And I mean, that's fine and all, but it's like you have to recognize it for what it is and not let people keep you or assist you in keeping you in the same space or same box, keep you or assist you in keeping yourself at the same level, because your level or your potential, they can see it. And just like we can be too close to something and we can't see it, other people see it. That was happening to me, where I was so not only so close, of course, being me, myself, I'm myself, but disassociating from all the trauma that I've experienced. I didn't really understand why people did not like me. I didn't understand why people repelled me, why people, um, you know, took me as like a threat in a way. And that's because whenever people would do that to me, like if I go to somebody and I'm like being, which I rarely have done now that I think about it, but the times that I have, and I'm kind of like venting in a way or asking for advice in a way, they would give me their BS advice. And it was more of like, I could tell it was like a trap in a way, like trying to send me back to a trap. Like, yeah, like, I don't know how to really explain it, but it's more of a feeling. Like I could feel it. And so me being me, just being analytical, not trying to expose their I don't know, fakeness or their true intentions. I'm just like, oh well, yeah, I guess I could stay with him and do this and da da da, but I don't really want to, or I see myself doing this or da 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 da, and I'm not really realizing. I feel so. That's why I feel so naive, or like I used to feel slow with certain things because I'm like, why am I not understanding that, certain things, right? And it was because I know what it was, because I was disassociating, and now it's now that I have a different perspective, it was a form of detaching, but which was a good thing because I didn't need to embody or, soak up any of that BS that these people had going on. But at the same time, as I came to more like the from the disassociation part aspect of things, as I came to more, I started to realize, oh, like this is intentional. Like these people are recognizing that I'm recognizing, not at the forefront of my mind, but at the back of my mind, like, okay, that was a sabotage, so I'm gonna correct it. I'm gonna set that boundary. But I'm not, pushing these people away, and I'm not cutting them off. And they're like, they're treating me like shit. And I'm like, but aren't you the one that tried to get me basically to jump off a bridge? No, New Day, you're retarded. You're slow if you think that, you know, they're probably like, I don't know. The more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, they're probably like, this girl is crazy. And it's not that I was crazy. I just didn't want. Not only were they not a threat, their words weren't a threat, and I wasn't moved by it. And I guess I was so easily transmuting and alchemizing the evil intentions without even realizing that's what I was doing, that they kind of took me as, a threat, or that they took fear towards me. And I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't even realize, like, like that's like I showed somebody I could a knife trick, right? And they were like, "What else can you do?" And I was, they were like, what?" And yeah, I put two and two together with that. I was like, "Oh yeah, they probably like kind of scared. Like, what else am I capable of?" Like, no, I just learned how to do this. I don't know. I just I don't know. Another situation that happened was, I was dating this person, and his dad, or he bought me a pew pew, and his dad was like, or we went to the gun range, and his dad was like, yeah, don't ever give her don't ever make her mad. And I'm like, whoa, I never even thought about that like that. Like, me being good at something, me being efficient, me being a certain way is a threat automatically, because people are kind of, it's unpredictable, right? People like when you're predictable. People like when, you come to them with that same abusive relationship and you talk about the same thing. I've cut people off for coming to me about the same thing. You haven't learned yet? Well, I have. Okay, I've learned. I don't want to deal with you or your constant self neglect, right? So I think the gist of what I'm saying, or what I'm trying to convey, is basically be aware of when people are trying to shame you back into your position, right? And there's a whole other level of science that goes into this, because at the end of the day, it's all you're creating this entire situation for yourself, whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not. It's just science. But to use phrases and words that may be more familiar with your brain, especially on the sense of on the note of what the heck was I saying? Oh, social media. It gives that kind of like that, oh, it's separate and this is just happening. No, it's still the same. It's an algorithm. Life has an algorithm, and social media taps into that algorithm, and you energetically bring in these things. So even that post that I described could happen to you not only in real life. Well, social media is real life, but not only in real life, but online as well. And like I said, me coming across that, I was like, okay, because I was feeling some type of way, because the way I just dropped my business. Like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time. The only part that I never got around to was my website, and getting all the legalities out of the way. But I know why that was too. I got discouraged and pushed into a box. They told me, oh, people don't make money in that field. People aren't successful enough. And I'm seeing girls become millionaires off, and I'm pretty sure it's not just doing hair, but, and even if it is, like, it's possible. It's not to say that it's not possible, but this person was telling me that it wasn't possible, and I believed it for so long. And it's like, the way that I kind of had to just do it regardless of what I've been doing. I started to feel a certain way, like, oh, like, am I an imposter? Basically, that imposter syndrome ish, right? I was like, am I like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, oh my god, it's such a drastic jump. How though? It's not a drastic jump. I've been doing this since 2016. Like, how is it a drastic jump? Like, I had to laugh at myself. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, and then of course get online and see that video, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it just confirmed basically what I was feeling. Like, okay, yeah, you're not, this is what you're supposed to be doing, and don't do this. Don't push yourself back into a box. Now, at this point, this is where it starts to get really, really crazy, and I see this on a daily basis as well. There's these things where I think they're called um what is it called? Self fulfilling prophecy. I believe that's what it's considered. A self a self-fulfilling prophecy, where they'll put the idea in your brain, or basically in front of you in your brain, and you will register it as your truth. And when you register it as your truth, that's what it'll become your reality. And once it becomes your reality, then that's just a whole nother ball game, right? You're just compiling, you know these things that you're not intentionally, or consciously um putting into the air, but that's what happens. You tend to do it and do it and do it until you can't, or you can always go back. You can always change your mind, right? That's the point of the video. But you tend to do it to where it feels so heavy, right? Because let's just pretend this is a bag, right? And as you go along life, doing these negative things, creating these negative things from the one negative thing, and it just creates and creates and creates, and you have this big, big bag, right? You just have this big tub of this is your reality, though. This is your life. I mean, I know it's not really a bag, but just imagine it is, right? It gets so heavy. It gets so heavy to the point where you're like, okay, I gotta put this down. But putting it down is the equivalent of, like, checking out, because, like, this is your life. You gotta put your reality down. Your baggage is your reality. People look at it and it's like, oh, that's too much. This is my life. Like, at least I have this. At least I have the bare minimum. Oh, I'm blessed with less. I'm blessed with the bare minimum. That is insane, y'all. Y'all gotta wake up. Come on. I've done it too. Not I can proudly say not as long as I've seen a lot of people do it. But that was just because I was dabbling in victimhood, and that wasn't fun either. But I say that to say it's a facade. It's a facade. Like, you just take things out one by one. Um the abusive relationship. Yeah, you did it for 14 years. Don't do it for 15. And the way you can convince yourself to outgrow that version of yourself, one, remember, you've been that version of yourself longer than you've been, or longer than you've been the version of yourself that you're attempting to become, right? That's first off. Second is forgive yourself. I particularly don't subscribe to forgiving myself because I don't ever think I've done anything wrong. I don't think I've done anything wrong. There is no right, there is no wrong. But I know that some people's minds in the program that society receives is basically, we are wrongdoers, right doers, we're sinners, and all this extra crap, right? Um, you know what I'm saying? So if we're gonna talk about morals, whose morals? We're gonna talk about my morals or your morals? So you got to think about these things. Like, you've done nothing wrong. The only thing you've done is be in a space that did not serve you. That's it. And yeah, it may come up and show up as a bruise. It may come up and show up in financial disparity. It may show up and come up in heck of children, and then they're bad kids at that, because there is a such thing as bad kids. Or there's, excuse me, there's a number of things that could show up physically that you didn't necessarily intend on showing up physically, that you can forgive yourself for, right? So you have to let yourself know, you have to let your body know, okay, if you remove yourself from the situation first and foremost. And if you can't remove yourself physically, because I know people be married, I know people are in long relationships and they have kids and all this, first of all, removing yourself physically needs to be first priority, or at least at the first forefront of your mind. But you have to be able to compartmentalize and move within your mind before you even move physically. Everything happens in the mind before you can move physically. If you can't see yourself physically moving, if you can't visualize yourself physically moving, you will never move. It doesn't work like that. You're never going to move. And I'm telling you that. The only time you're going to move is if that person moves you by knocking you in your face or pushing you off, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just pushing you off the deep end. That's the only time you'll move. When you let somebody else have control of your mind. You have to show up for you. And the way you show up originally or initially is by showing up mentally. Come back to earth, to whoever. Come back to your flesh and recognize, oh my God, I've been in a relationship for this long. Okay. Whoa. We're not going to go spiral. We're not going to go, freak out and, like, what people do. So they'll go from one box of being abused, and then they'll jump to the next box of being a victim. Like, oh my God, I was dealing with a narcissist. Girl, that's like working at a bum job for a minute, and then they finally fire you, or you finally leave, and that's all you talk about for the rest of your life. Girl, get over it. Get over it. It is what it is. You did it. Get over it. Like, it is not going to serve you. You're going to stay in that same spot, or you're just going to go, like, you're not going to, how people talk about quantum leaping? You're going to take a quantum skip. You're going to move, but you're going to skip. It's going to be a little, like a little hop. Y'all tripping. And I hate to put it like this, but I think a lot of the world has a masochist kind of like mental in the first place. So you need somebody like me who's not gonna sugarcoat. I don't sugarcoat things. Don't talk to me if you want it sugarcoated. The only thing that needs to be sugarcoated is some candy. That's it. I don't need to be sugarcoated. I don't need to sugarcoat anything. If it's not sweet, why are we sugarcoating it? Getting beat is not sweet. So why would I? Oh, Yeah, just take your time. Girl, take your time. You're going to wake up in heaven. You keep playing. You're going to wake up in heaven or in wherever you think you're going. Okay? So if you haven't been in your head, in your body this whole time, where do you think you're going? You're going wherever your mind is going. Okay? You have to wake up. You have to remind yourself to not mindlessly agree with these things that are basically built to destroy you. Like that guy, he has millions of followers. He has millions of views every time he posts. You want to know why? He's being pushed. And you want to know why he's being pushed? Because he helps people like you. He helps the lowly stay low. He helps people who, and I don't want to say you because I mean, I'm sure not, everybody watching me is lowly. I don't know who's watching me actually. I'm not gonna even speak on that, but yeah. um, Whoever needs to hear this needs to hear it, and take it with a grain of salt. Um, it's not to. I don't gain anything from, making anybody feel bad. And if you feel bad, that is not my fault. That's a personal problem. It's not me, because I know my intentions, and that falls into that box of people misunderstanding or just not being strong enough or more confident enough to understand what I'm saying and digest it in a way to where they can get the nutrients and get rid of the rest of it, right? Um, and if I trigger you, don't watch don't watch me. I don't want to trigger anybody, and I can control if I trigger somebody or not. Only you can control that. So just don't watch me. My thing is, I I have so much love for like the world. I have so much love for humanity. It is unreal, and I know that I have had to balance it out in a way. I think that's why I have so much dark humor and um that's kind of where my trauma plays into a lot of things is like, okay, like I have a lot of empathy because I know how it feels, but at the same time I don't really care because like like it is what it is or it is what you make it. So you can't save everybody. I'm not saving anyone. I refuse to. I can't. So what I aim to do is not only find and attract people like me, already like me, um, but also align with people who can help me level up and other people aligning with me that I could possibly help level up by not anything more than just existing. Like I said, this is exposure. There are people who, when I say jaw dropped by me, and I'm like y'all good. Like I'm not a celebrity. Like I don't want to be a celebrity. So why are, especially because of those type of reactions, like that scares me. Like why are you so shell shocked that somebody like me exists? And I think that immediate dissonance that I get from like my family and people who grew up around me, they're so used to me, but they kind of treat me the same way, like in a way that's like, I don't know how to really describe that. I don't know how to really explain it, but it is a feeling more. But it's a, yeah, it's a specific kind of response that I get that kind of just like, nah, y'all need more exposure. This is not okay. What do you mean you have never met somebody like me? Not to say that there is, that we're all alike or that there is somebody out there like me, but there are people who possess a certain type of energy, and there are people who are a certain way and that present themselves a certain way. Yeah, we are in alignment. We have our own personalities and we make our own decisions and we have our own beliefs, but we be aligned with people. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we find people. That's why we find each other. And for a good example of alignment is like with that video. I aligned with that video because I had the thought of, this is crazy. Like, people are gonna be like, well, this is random. Of course it's random. It's random because I could do what I want. I do what I want to, right? But my ego was creating that reality where I would have probably been like, yeah, I don't want to do this after I've invested all this money. And I've done that before where I've invested money and I'm like, yeah, no, because I know what money is, and it's just money. But at the same time, like that's where you can be too smart for your own good. And that's going to be my next video. We can be too smart for our own good. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense to people. I am having a really hard time determining if I want to make short or long videos. I am not a short. I don't do chit chats. I don't do, what is it called? What is it called? Like small talk. That's what it's called, right? Or little talk. I don't know. It's something. It's like when you have very little like um words. I don't know how to explain it. What is it called? What is it called to have short conversations with people? chit chat. Oh yeah, small talk. So yeah, I had it right. So yeah, I don't really do that. I don't do small talking, and especially because my personality is big, and I have, I my mind is brilliant, right? So that's where I run into people that like who see me in other atmospheres and they're like, "What? Why aren't you being yourself?" I don't know these people. I have nothing to say to these people. What you want me to say? So that I could run them away and make them upset. And you invited me out. I'm going to. That's me diluting myself. I'm not doing that anymore. So I just don't hang with those people. But yeah, I put myself in spaces and knowing that I would have to pull back a little bit because yeah, I'm either saying nothing or I'm doing this. So doing a what a like I'm at 30 minutes now. I'll probably end it now, but doing a chit chat, a little 12-minute video. I'll probably do a 12-minute video. I don't know. But yeah, this is fun. I'm starting to enjoy this more and more, and I'm especially starting to enjoy it more and more because I don't have distractions. Like I said, I think my neighbors can hear me, and they like to do weird stuff. Yeah, very weird stuff. But I'll talk to y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video.